All right, I'm going to be covering the material and looking at the outline for short paper number 8. Short paper number 8. I've entitled it Fab, Value, and Satisfaction. Those are the 3 sections of paper number 8. You're going to be coming out of the marketing mix as far as reading through the marketing plan and into these next 3 sections. Again, I've said this several times, both in my edits with graded papers as well as on a couple of videos. Do not simply define each term that you're going to be writing about. You don't start every single section with a definition, a book definition or some online definition for a basic marketing term. Now, on some of these sections, you will need to define what the acronym stands for and that sort of thing, but do not simply define each and every term. The 3 sections for paper number 8 are going to be Fab, Value, and Satisfaction. Let's start with Fab. The Fab section, FAB, stands for Features, Advantages, and Benefits. So you'll need to define that acronym fairly early on. Yes, you will be looking at your product and only your product. Do not lose focus and spread out into talking about the corporation or the industry or something. You're talking about your product. I would like for you to discuss 3 to 5 Fab items. Some of you it's going to be very easy. Others it might be difficult to even find 3. But I think once I explain the Fab, it'll make it a lot easier for you. Fab features. In the way I'd like for you to structure this. Now, you can structure it however you like, but what I find to be the simplest for students is for them to cover a feature, the advantage of that feature, and its benefit, and then move on to the next Fab item. So it'd be feature 1, advantage 1, benefit 1. That's Fab 1. And then there'll be feature 2, discuss it, advantage 2, discuss it, and benefit to discuss that. That's kind of like Fab 2, kind of thing. So it is kind of a listing after you define what Fab stands for, and a little intro paragraph, a couple of sentences long. You go right into Fab 1. Here's feature 1, advantage 1, benefit 1. Fab 2, kind of like a little subheading, feature 2, advantage 2, benefit 2. And then that way, if you do it in that form and you list it out to the side, you don't have to have complete sentences and punctuation, etc. It can just be a statement out to the side. Now, so what is the Fab? Features. This is a feature of the product that is different than the rest of the industry, or gives your product an advantage in the marketplace. For example, if you have an automobile, you're not going to talk about features like it has 4 wheels, it's got a steering wheel. We would be here forever in the Fab section if you're listing each and every feature like that. What you want to look at are those features that set your automobile, in this case, apart from the rest of the automobiles in that category. So you're going to try to identify 3 to 5 features. So you have 3 to 5 Fab items here in this section, things that set your product apart. So the features section, when you have a feature 1, let's say it's a automatic braking system, a new automatic braking system. Okay. Then you move into advantage 1. Advantages are compared to the rest of the competition, compared to the rest of the products in this product category in the marketplace. How does this feature set them apart? How is it a competitive advantage, or kind of thing? Why would you list this particular feature? So I would have feature, new, advanced, state-of-the-art braking system. Advantage, no other automobile in the category has this braking system. The advantage is no other car has it. And so when I read the statements, and when you read the statements that you put in there, when you type them up for advantages, it should have phrases like the only one of only a few, those kinds of statements, because you're only going to be giving Fab items that are unique to your product, or unique to your product and a few others, but it's something that sets your product apart. So a feature, new, advanced, state-of-the-art braking system. Advantage, no other car in this category has this braking system. Benefit, how does the consumer benefit? The benefit statements are all going to be things like safety, saves money, keeps them safe, easier to use, things like that. How does the consumer benefit? Not how your company benefits, but how does the consumer benefit? I do not want to read statements with benefit of the company benefits because they make money selling this product, promoting this feature. That is not what I want. Benefits should have the customer in mind. So how does the customer benefit? So for the fab that I've been using as an example of an automobile, the feature might be state-of-the-art braking system. Advantage one would be no other car in this category has it, and benefit one would be the consumer is safer because of this new technology. That's fab one for my particular paper if I had an automobile. So I would like to see you use 3 to 5 fab items for each of yours. Now, if you have something real simple like a soft drink, and you're thinking, I don't know if I can even come up with 3, you can come up with 3. They're very simple. Unique taste, unique packaging. There's all kinds of features that set your product apart. Tradition, history, the brand name, all kinds of things like that that set your product apart. So it doesn't matter how simple it is, you will have 3 to 5 fab items, or how complex. You can narrow it down to 3 to 5. You want to make sure that you identify the features that set it apart, state that the advantage of that feature, setting it apart, making it giving it a competitive advantage in the marketplace, and how does the consumer benefit. Okay, that's the fab. I want the 3 sections of paper 8 to go in this order, because once you finish your fab, you'll move right into the value section. And value, your textbook comes in handy here. I've given you chapter 6, page 161, and chapter 10, pages 290 through 298. It's where it discusses value. Value can be looked at like a ratio, like a fraction, where value, V, equals benefits over costs. So you look at a ratio, and if you think of benefits, the B, over cost, if you can increase benefits and or decrease costs, you create value for the consumer. Consumers know they're getting a good value when they get a lot of benefits at very little cost. So when the top number of a fraction goes up and the bottom number goes down, or any combination of that, you get a greater value. The number on the other side of the equal signs goes up. So value equals consumers weighing benefits versus costs. And so if we look at like a ratio, it's benefits over costs. And your textbook explains that in this value formula or fraction or ratio, explains that. But notice that in the first section, fab, you listed the benefits already. So the value section, is your product a good value? Well, you've already offered the benefits. Now, in this section of value, you can just simply say, value is according to Farrell and Hartline, value is a formula of benefits over cost, or consumers weighing benefits and costs. As seen above, there are many benefits listed for this particular product. The costs associated with this product are, and there are lots of costs beyond just the price. When you list just the price, that's only part of what costs is. What about getting to the product, or is the product accessible? What about the risk of buying it? Financial risks, social risks, things of this nature. The time it takes to purchase it and find it. There are lots of other costs associated with purchasing this product. And so when the consumer looks at those costs related to the benefits listed in the fab section, is your product a good value? And I would like for this section to end with a concluding sentence, is your product a good value or not? In other words, a concluding sentence of, based on the benefits presented in the fab section and the costs presented above, this product is a good value. Now, if you say something like the benefits outweigh the costs, in the outline, I spelled the word outweigh correctly. That is a common word for students to misspell. Even though Microsoft Word underlines it in red, students still submit it and it's misspelled. It is not O-U-T-W-A-Y. It is not O-U-T-W-I-E-G-H. It is spelled correctly in the outline. So I would like to see something about, and you may find that your product is not a good value, that the cost outweigh the benefits, and that's okay. I want a concluding sentence here, determining, and you don't have to say I believe or I think. That's offering opinion. You're not offering opinion. You're stating the results of weighing benefits and costs. So you just have a statement that says, since the benefits presented in the FAB section and the costs presented here in this section, the benefits outweigh the costs, thus this product is a good value. That's the conclusion that's come to by looking at the benefits and costs presented. Okay. The third and final section is the satisfaction section. This section, satisfaction is very simple to understand. What was the consumer's expectations of the product met? Have consumer expectations been met? If consumer expectations have been met or exceeded, then satisfaction has occurred. If expectations are not met, then there is no satisfaction. And by the way, satisfaction is one or the other. You're either satisfied or dissatisfied. There's no in between or grading or levels of satisfaction. It's kind of like what I always say with students is, it's kind of like a woman that is pregnant. She's not almost pregnant. She's either pregnant or not pregnant. It's one or the other. So a product either has satisfied customers or they're dissatisfied. The customer is either satisfied or dissatisfied. So I'm asking you, the majority of the customers or the marketplace, the current consumers of your product, are they satisfied? And the way you determine that is, are their expectations being met? Now, again, no opinions, no general statements, that kind of thing. You've got to offer support on whether your customers are satisfied or not, the customers of the product that you've selected, if they're satisfied or not. How do you find support for satisfaction? Now, you can find the opposite, that they're not satisfied. That's fine. If that's the conclusion you come to, that's fine. But most of the time, students find that the customer is satisfied. So how do you offer support for that? Well, satisfaction ratings. You know, most websites or review sites, the reviews are a 5-star review. So don't just say they review 5. 5 what? Five stars. Well, 5 stars out of 100 stars, you know, so make sure you explain the rating system and who was presented the rating system and who is this, that sort of thing. But you can use reviews and rating systems on customer satisfaction. You can also look at whether there are repurchases, the loyalty numbers and repurchase numbers for, if you have like an Apple product, Honda product. These are brands that have high repurchase rates. Someone's not going to buy it again unless they're satisfied. So high repurchase rates. If sales continue to go up, then consumers tend to be satisfied. There are lots of things that you can find to help support the idea that the customer is satisfied. You may have to go out beyond the company website. Oh my goodness, if you could have more than one source. That just seems earth-shattering to some of you, but yes, go outside of your corporate website to find support for whether the consumers are satisfied or not, as far as that's concerned. And then that's the third and final section there. I offer suggestions. Everything I've mentioned in the video is here on the outline. It is 3 sections. And don't try to have a concluding sentence or anything there with that satisfaction section. It just ends. Okay, they're either satisfied or not, and what's the support. You can also offer, I didn't mention this, if you find on those review sites, you not only the rating system or the average review or satisfaction studies that they have, you could actually include 2 or 3 quotes from satisfied customers. And so you can offer partial quotes and things like that. Please do not offer every single quote. I don't want 23 pages of, quotes about your product. Offer a sampling of them, 2 or 3 quotes, and then make sure that you reference those with the page identified if it's a direct quote, to the blog site or the review site or whatever. That's paper number 8.